grade 12, and I realized that's what I wanted to do. That was kind of the spark part. Going to my guidance counselor, I said, "Miss, I know what I want to do." And she said, "Okay, that's fine. There's only one problem. You're going to have to go back to grade 9.
On today's episode, we have Prof. Dwight Alexander, a creative director, educator, and content creator who's also known as the Portfolio Professor. His career has been full of creating brands, worlds, and experiences, becoming an innovative powerhouse who's worked with several brands such as Nike, Netflix, and even My Little Pony.
This is Sit Downs with SANE.
Welcome to Sit Downs with SANE. And today we're sitting down with Prof. Dwight. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's an honor having you on the pod today.
It's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much. So anyone who's taken your classes or even just knows you knows that you love what you do.
Yes.
And so I've always been curious to find out what's your journey from first getting to the arts all the way till now? I know it's a lengthy one.
Cole's Notes version is basically, it started in high school. The important part of it was I was in grade 12, and I realized that's what I wanted to do. That was kind of the spark part. Going to my guidance counselor, I said, "Miss, I know what I want to do." And she said, "Okay, that's fine. There's only one problem. You're going to have to go back to grade 9. I'm sorry, what? Yeah. It's like, you have no art credits and you're trying to get into these art schools, so you're going to be behind. So if you are super serious about this, you're going to have to go back to grade 9 or grade 10 and take all of the art courses." I'm like, okay. So that's what I did. So senior, I think it was grade 13 OAC, and basically sitting in grade 10. So I just spread out the entire journey in high school. So I was there for an extra 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So I did all the arts, worked on my portfolio, built a mini agency inside the school called ACES. And then from there, went to George Brown.
Wow.
And then it is a long story, but from George Brown to George Brown, landed in a digital agency, stayed there for about 10 years, 6 years in, RTA, landed as a TA. Charles, shout out to Charles, figured out who I was, hired me as the art director of the program, got to rebrand the entire RTA program on paper, online, on air. It was great. Worked on some of them are still there, the new media logo, that's me, adjusted that a little bit, and other things in between. And then from there, landed at the government, which is great. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I got to design, create promos, top grossing. It was amazing. It was the small ragtag group of what OLG.ca is today. So they grabbed 20 of us, put us on an offsite. They didn't believe in the internet. They said, "You're in charge of this." So I was like the lead designer. So all promos, all designs, all branding, everything on top of that was just fun. Through there, did my master's. As you can tell, education's fun because I wanted to teach. And then pandemic hit, and I got the call from Sean Haswell. And he basically said, "Hey, you know how you just finished your master's and you wanted to teach?" I'm like, "Sure. There you go. There's only one problem. You have a pandemic and it's done online." So never taught before, how to teach online, and we go from there. And all throughout this, since like 1992, been doing freelance since there. So from Hasbro to My Little Pony to working on Raptor stuff to government stuff to promotions, it's been decades and decades of play. Similar to what I've asked you all to kind of think about. So yeah, short enough story, but yeah.
Wow, okay. There's so much that we have to unpack here. Oh, okay. I'm gonna bring it back to a conversation that we had
Yes.
during my first year. I stayed after class and we were talking about just bridging between different programs. And you mentioned that your parents weren't really supportive about it.
So they were supportive, but traditional Caribbean parents,
Yeah.
there's only 3 things you can be.
Yeah.
Dad said, "You like playing with Legos, you're going to be an architect." I was like, "That sounds like fun. What does that entail?" Math. Okay, math is not my thing. So basically I took calculus 3 times, finally proving to him, I was like, "Look, I am not going to become an architect." And the conversation we were having was about the level of pressure that comes with that, because believing in me, Dad basically said, hey, you have one shot, let's do this, but please be clear that if you're not able to do this properly, then we're gonna have to look at this architecture stuff again, because I think this is more viable. As always, whenever someone says the arts, excuse me, starving artists, they think you're not going to succeed. And in that time, obviously so. In this time now, this is where you all thrive, basically. But got everything done. He worked hard, and Mom worked hard too. And as a parent, that's the perspective, because we talked about it before. I was like, Dad, why are we so hard? He's just like, I didn't know if you're gonna make it. I just want you to be safe. Excuse me. Excuse me, should have brought water. And there's so many cool things that we talked about that I didn't know, because he gave me his perspective on his side. And one of the things where after I moved out, I came across some of my old stuff. And this is what like fills my heart, where he got me a Mac. Like, you know, the green bubbly Mac thingies?
Oh,
The big bubble one?
Oh,
He got me that. I did not know where it came from. He's like, look, they said Macs are for design. I got you this Mac.
Oh.
This is 2000 basically. And I came across like the package they give you was 10 grand. I was like, Dad. He's like, yeah. And at that point I was like, okay, so you believed. It's like, yeah, but I was scared. But you proved that you could do it, because I don't think we were gonna be able to stop you. I'm like, cool. But that, and amongst so many other things, from working on his campaign, designing his book, working on Mom's cookbooks, like all of these things that I've been able to actually play around with. So it's, the way he described it to me was, no parent wants their child to fail. So they go with what they know, because obviously that's what they're familiar with. But once you make that step and you succeed, excuse me, then they can kind of relax a bit, and then go from there. But that's where that aspect came from. So in our conversation, I was like, I know where your parents are coming from, because when you make that announcement, anything that's they're not familiar with, it's always like, well, why don't you do what I think I know you should do? Because I've seen this work in the past. The stuff that you're talking about, whether it be technology, creativity, anything, I've never seen, or I don't know this world, and I don't know if I can help you. And when I say help, I would be up late working on a project for an assignment that's due the next morning, as we always do. And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and my bedroom door would like slowly open. And then Mom would just push in some toast and orange juice and then shut the door back. And when I talked to her about it, it's like, Mom, what was that about? I was like, I couldn't help you, but the only thing I knew was you didn't eat. So this is the only thing I can do to make sure that you could keep going, was give you some form of sustenance. I'm like, cool. But again, I think from a parental standpoint, whenever any child announces, hey, I want to do this, and you know nothing about it, I'm like, I need to help them, because that's literally the premise of kids in general, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where that came from. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Like, I definitely get that, because most of my family, they're in like, a good portion of them are in the sciences, like healthcare, or even like my dad, he was like a bell technician, he did like the math and the sciences. And when I told her like I want to do something like in the arts, or before when I even wanted to do teaching, she's like, broke? You're gonna end up broke?
Which is fair.
Yeah, I was like, you know, I'm giving it a try, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I guess, you know, do it, you know, but I will be making your lunches. I'll make sure that you eat, because it looks like you're dropping pounds. I'm like, oh, okay. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. I wanted to circle back also to like just your leadership experience as well, because you mentioned managing all these things.
Yes.
What is like your advice when it comes to leading a group of creatives?
If you're to lead a group of creatives, like all the students that I've worked with, it is instilling you all with that level of confidence that you can do it. That's in my experience. So when working in teams of either 4 or 2 or 12 or whatnot, you know why you're there. Yes, it is a job, but everyone has their individual strengths. So understanding what those strengths are and what they love to do, and have them be attached to that part of the project, so it's more of a united stuff, and make it shareable. What I mean by that is like if two people say they love doing the same thing, then you kind of rotate around that way. You've seen it in our class when presentations aren't mandatory, and the vibe is basically, what was the 3 ways you can present in our class? You can come up to the front of the class, which is very stressful. You can stay where you are, you get mic'd up and we can see what you say. Or you straight Hunger Games and volunteers tribute. Can we talk about that? But in the time that I've been teaching, when I implemented this rule in a class of like 28, 24 of y'all step up and present. Some have some innate fears, which is great, but the vibe of all of our classes have been just more of a, it stops being a classroom around class 3 and it just becomes a collection of creatives trying to make something cool. And you've experienced it when you come into the class, you're just like, okay, cool. Like there's that, the reason why we did that whole top 5 stuff is because all of a sudden that sense of competition is gone, because when you realize you want to work there, you want to work there, and you want to work there, it's not the same as mine. So let's everyone help everyone get the best that they can be, so then in the end, everybody gets what they want. And I think that's the difference between our classes overall, because I'm able to have you all recognize that. And let's be honest, it is reflective in your work. There's a difference between an assignment and I was like, I want to do this. And after we pass that threshold, the assignments that come in, some of the profs look at this like, these don't even look like assignments. I'm like, I don't know what to say, but you're all on your way. And that's the whole point overall. So it's understanding where your strengths are, helping to engage you with your creative confidence, and allowing you to say, oh no, I can do this, but not being so attached to the one thing to remember that I've got all these other things I want to make. This is just part 1 of many that I can take care of. Again, forcing you to think in decades, not semesters, because usually everyone's just like, I need this to be a certain way. This has to be just like this. But forgetting that, oh, I'm going to be playing in this sandbox for the rest of my life. Let's plan this out, execute this the way I want, step away when I have to, because there's all these other things I want to experience as well. Yeah.
And for those who may not know what the top 5 is,
Yes.
could you explain that and how to use that for your success?
The top 5s are what I consider a cheat code for any creative, either classroom, working, or otherwise. It's basically 3 questions. Top 5 companies or industries you want to work for or in. Second question, which is easy. Top 5 things you love to make or would like to make. And the last one is the top 5 job titles you want in your entire career. And I encourage you all to be as greedy as possible, because again, if we're looking in decades, that list will grow. There are skills that you will attain and you realize, oh, I didn't know I can do this. That goes on the list. So with that list, now you put everything you have to do through that filter. So for again, mine was children's entertainment. So I love doing kids stuff. If we had to do a poster, I made a kids poster. So one by one, you're making these mini love letters to the industry that you care about. So when you leave here, again, portfolio over everything in your portfolio has purpose. As my saying is, a portfolio without purpose is pointless. So all of a sudden, all the work there is meaningful versus a traditional student portfolio where you take everything, you kind of just dump it in a website and be like, please hire me. No, each thing there is not only the thing that you love to do, but it's there on purpose so that you can actually get a job doing it afterwards. And that's where that comes into play.
How much did you have on your list?
Mine was 136, if I remember correctly. And I have 7 left.
Wow.
It's been fun. It's been, I don't know what happens when you clear it out. I can't remember all of them. I think that's on purpose because it feels like a final destination thing. It's like, what happens when this is all finished? Is it done? No, I don't know. But there's a few things left. There's a few things to add on as well, but there's less than 10.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been able to just, again, I started off with comic books and advertising. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't know I can do illustrations for kids' books or web design. And then that just got put on the list. It's like, okay, give me that job. Give me this thing I can do. Make that. And as you acquire the skills in school, it's like, oh, Illustrator gets me to Picture books, great. I want to do picture books there. So then the list kept growing and growing and growing. You picked up a camera, I was like, wait, stop animation? Want to try that too? Put that on the list. Where can I apply to that? I don't know. What is it, Leica Studios? All of those things help the list grow. And then when you're looking at it, or when you're in a position where you're just like, either you're bored, because we get bored, or you're frustrated, there's a sense of confidence that comes along when you realize, I don't have to stay here. I got all these things I want to do still, and I can change my portfolio to get to those things. And that, in my opinion, is probably the most powerful thing for you all students and creatives to understand the level of control you have to get to the places you want to go from a visual standpoint, because we can make anything look like anything. And in this beautiful world of social media, we have that superpower of things in your back pocket to actually make those things and actually show to future employers or clients that I can do this for real, and the proof is right there. Yeah.
What has been the most surprising opportunity you got from executing this mindset or this plan?
Teaching?
Oh, really? Okay. How so?
I want to say every single one, but the most recent one would be teaching. So Sean Haswell said yes. He gave me RTA 103, got a chance to work with all of you students, which is amazing. He also granted me RTA 963, which is web design. In that, I wanted to work in other schools. So Sean knew me. I worked with Sean when I was rebranding RTA, which is great. So he gave me that opportunity, but everyone else did not know who I was. So I would apply just using, as I would call, the black and whites, just a resume. And nobody's calling me back. Nothing, nobody. I'm like, come on. I got the experience, I got the education, I did everything they're supposed to be doing. Why isn't anybody calling me back? And this is where that $22 million thing came into play, where it's just like, wait, I don't have any examples in my portfolio. I'm like, okay, if I was a $22 million educational institution, what would my website look like? Okay. So I went to LinkedIn Learning, Domestika, Skillshare, and I just studied their layout. I'm like, wait, video, still, course, visuals, feedback, I can lay that out. So I took the 2 classes, did the same thing, branded it out. I'm like, okay, so I handed in the black and white, and I sent the link, and I sent it to 4 different schools. And I pressed send all at the same time on the same day. 2 days later, hey,
Wow.
you look like you can teach. You look like you can teach. Are you available to teach? Out of all the schools, Humber was the fastest, so I landed at Humber. So then from there, my portfolio of 2 classes to this day is now 16 individual classes. I haven't even updated my site yet. So this is the beauty of it, where I was like, it's portfolio or everything, no matter what.
There's a lot of creators who they use Instagram as
Yes.
their main portfolio.
Yes.
But how would they present their case study online? Would this be LinkedIn? What avenues would they use?
So short answer is you leave, it's fishing basically. You put the final piece on Instagram and say, for more information on this project, go to my website. So everything redirects back to, as I would say, your creative house, because that's the most control you have. If you have it on Instagram, you can shut it down, things get cut off, but at least until this point now, having your own creative house is the most, how would you say, controllable. Yeah.
No, I like that a lot. But you can't be creatives without, also looking at other creatives and seeing what they're doing.
Yes.
So I was wondering, who/what is your favorite unconventional art or artist? You can list more than one.
I don't know names. I don't. So I'll have a creative run. I call them creative runs in the morning, where I'll start off on something I may have seen on Instagram, type it into Google, then other things will pop up. And basically I have a swipe file where I'll just right click save as and save that and put that in a folder. It's something that was introduced to us when we were in high school. In the before times, when you saw a cool news clipping, you would tear it off and put it in a folder so you get your inspiration there. Digital came along and this is a really cool process. And my rule is what happens if there's no internet? So I started saving them, hundreds of thousands of, before Pinterest, because you can't batch upload to Pinterest anymore. Anyway, so I just got into a habit of going on these creative runs where it'd be a video, poster, and I would just right click, save as, put it in a folder. The rule was as soon as it gets to 500 kilobytes, you start a new folder. So it could be a game, it could be a Netflix episode, it could be a toy. I would just type that into Google, go to images, see what pops up, and I would just take that visual journey. And if something cool came along, I would save it. I was like, oh, I would love to see something like this, or maybe I could create something like that. And it could be anything, actually. I tried not to be too specific, but the fun part, and everyone can try this, when you look back at that folder and you put it in order, you start to see your creative way of thinking, like, oh, wow, I went from looking at trees, and now I'm looking at bridges, because they looked at chlorophyll and how leaves were put together, and now I understand why bridges are built a certain way. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to use this, but it's just like that train of thought, which is really, really fun and exciting at the same time. So I can't really say who or what. It's more along the lines of, it's pretty much almost every morning, or if I'm waiting in between class, I'll just type something in, see what pops up, and just take 10, 15 minutes to get that inspiration for the day. That's why all of our classes, for whatever reason, that's what I mean when I'm in the right place at the right time. There's all this random knowledge there. It's like, what do you think about that? I'm like, maybe this. It's like, how do you know that? I don't know. It's just weird that way, but that's what I mean by that part. So yeah, I don't have specifics. I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
No, so it's just a constant flow of creativity coming in and coming out.
Yeah. It's, I don't even have my laptop. Like if I showed you the folder that I have, and I keep it on a USB key as well, if there's no internet, it's just 10 gigs of random images. So even if I have to present to a client, I've got folders section out where it's like, hey, what do you think about these? Those kind of things. But yeah, it's a good question. Do people usually have like specific people that they follow?
Some people do, yeah.
I don't know. I love randoms that way. And all my clients are random that way too. So, and students, oh my gosh, I love you all. You're even more random, where it's like, sir, have you heard about this? No. We're going on a break. I'm going to go find out right now. It's just all of these things sit there in your subconscious all of a sudden. So when you're creating, you're just like, what would it look like if I put this in here? What would a plant logo look like for a bridge? Well, okay, you have the leaf and then you have the veins, but if we make the veins this way, then it looks like the bridge. I'm like, oh, there's a logo, done. So it's always random each time. So I can't give you a specific, unfortunately.
No, that's good. No, because it's a very unconventional way of thinking.
Yeah.
And we love that you built a community around being an unconventional artist and doing a lot of unconventional art in the best way possible. Because I feel like that can sound
all right. That's right. That's right.
But it's very much a compliment.
Thank you.
Because in our community, we have a tradition.
Yes.
Where we go into our sit downs with SANE book.
Yes.
And guests from previous episodes have written down questions to pose to our
to write
current
things.
guests. Yeah. So we have a question here, and they
Yes.
are able to pose a question.
Okay.
To a next guest. So here's your question.
That's not fair. What?
Can you read it out?
Sorry. What is a piece of art you made that you are most proud of?
Top 5.
I don't have one. I love them all. As I was saying, Brian, what's his name?
Hayden?
Hayden, sorry.
Yes.
He has the same question. I love them all. You have to understand, from the announcement that I'm going to be creative and everyone's saying there's no way you can pull this off, this has just been a gift and playtime since, like, every opportunity to just make something, like on a good day, opening up the Adobe Suite, like that just makes my day. But I don't have a single one. I love them all. Like I can look through my entire portfolio and I'm like, I remember that. I remember that too. Oh my gosh. And whether it be real or fake for a client or whatnot, just that journey. And even teaching y'all, where I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting away with this. Is this real right now? I can't believe I get to do this, basically. And I still keep doing this. And this is decades. So that I don't have one. I don't have one. There the one that maybe started it all. But that's not even my favorite because I got to design the school mascot for my high school, Father Michael McGivney. They redesigned it now, but there is a 12-foot by 12-foot painting on the wall. And that was my final project. And even my art and a buddy of mine, Jay Santos, shout out, he helped me paint it. And even the prof was like, I don't think you're going to be able to finish this. Are you going to be able to finish this in time? Because we had a year-end show. You had to produce 12 different pieces.
Oh, wow.
But I got a photo. There was something about photos. I can share that photo with you. But basically, it was just an actual proof because we sanded the wall, bought the house paint, traced it using an overhead projector, all of it, and painted that out. But there's not a single one. Like when I was here in RTA, I got to make a kid show, magic pencil case. Didn't think I could pull that off, but we did. We almost failed. It was my fault.
Oh,
I've never animated a kid show before in my life.
Hey, first time for everything.
Basically. But to see that come to life, I'm like, I just made a kid show. Like every thing I've been able to create, I am extremely proud of, only because I got to do it. And it might be a weird thing to say, but not one sticks out. It's just that feeling of, like I said, I can't believe I get to do this. Like, I can't believe I still keep getting to do this. And that is just a rarity. Like, out of the friends in high school that took the arts, there's like 2% of us that are still doing it.
Oh, wow.
There's not a lot of us left. Most people tap out, go finance or whatever, or real estate, but there's a few of us that are still in it. And whether we lucky or tormented, basically, I don't know. But yeah, I wish I had an answer for that. And the other questions that is just like, which design do you hate the most? Is like, none of them. Some of them are trash, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm just like, why did it turn out this way? And most of the time because you were just angry about the process and not actually just enjoying it. So it turned out a specific way where it's just like, you could have done better. If you actually, and this is in the early years where it's just like, why won't you listen to me? But it's just, yeah, short answer to long one anyway. All of them. And it's not just the creative stuff from the stuff you've seen in our classes and everything. It's just all that design stuff where I'm just like, can't believe I just turned RTA 103 into a kid's show. And there's an animated intro and credits at the end.
Yeah.
And it makes me laugh every time where a student asks, sir, how do we get a hold of you? I'm like, my name has been by the credits the entire time, but y'all are just looking for your name in the credits with your phones. I'm like, this is amazing. But everything that I've been able to make, I'm kind of proud of, and I keep getting a chance to keep making things. So yeah.
No, I think that was a beautifully surround answer, for sure.
I read it, I was like, no, that's not fair. I can't pick one, but yeah.
No, but I definitely hope that a lot of us creatives can find as much joy as you do and really enjoy the process. Because I feel like a lot of us are very critical and we lose the love of the art, but we don't see it as something that we get to do after a good time.
I think secretly you all do love it. And for those of you who have been in our classes, you know, because we throw marks out the window, but at the same time, for myself even, I can't see myself doing anything else. Like nothing else. So it's just like, what do you call it, a jilted love, whatever you want to call it, you're just like, I'm going to be doing this forever regardless. So, and that's why in our classes, I focus heavily on just your creative confidence, because when you realize that, you're like, yeah, here, give me the 60. I still like what I made and I'm going to put it in my portfolio at the end of the day, but it's just, again, decades, not semesters. And I'll end this. Like, it is the coolest thing to see when y'all flip. When you walk into the class, you're just like scared, and we go through top fives, and then you get the marks back and you realize, wait, what? And it's like, I can do whatever I want. Day one, the poster things, like, and I call out, give me a number between 1 and 1,000. And I grab a random Pokemon, and you're like, what is he doing? And I put it on top of the boxer's shoulder. You're like, can we just grab anything? Go crazy. And you all just jump in. And then the look on your faces is just, I'm doing it. Like this, nothing matters at this point. You all just lock in. It is the coolest thing ever. And I think if, for those of you who had the fortune to being in our classes, remember that feeling, I think you're gonna have a good time. Specifically now, because it's all visuals now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy cool. But yeah. Any other questions?
No, honestly, I wish I could pick your brain for like the next 5 hours, but unfortunately, that's all the time we
I
have for
know.
today. It was a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of course, and thank you guys for sitting down with us.
Stay tuned because there's more at the table on Sit Downs with SANE.